I'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for the Top Gun Sales Bootcamp training. Wow. Like like every day, the consistency. Boom, boom, boom. Like I don't know. And it's a new week and it's like, oh, so excited. There's so many things. Oh, it's like I can't wait. I can't wait to get started. Do you all feel like that?
No.
Last night before I went to bed, I felt like that.
Oh, good. Nice. Kenny.
It would be similar for me, whereas I feel like that more in the evenings and the afternoons than in the morning.
Okay. Gotcha. So I don't know if it's because I worked, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 hours yesterday. And I'm Baptist. I mean, you're not going to hell for working on Sunday, but man, I don't like to work on Sunday. Man, I don't like to. So, so I got to get back into the week so I can relax. Um, no, I don't know, maybe. So, Nora, what you got?
I had 59% overall for last week.
Whoa, you go, girl. So you're ratcheting it up. You're ratcheting it up. I don't know, you're at 20%, then you're at 40%. Now you're at, pushing 60%. And so, um, how does that make you feel?
Not sure, actually.
How can you not be sure? I mean, when my mom died, I wasn't sure how I felt. So, but that was my mom dying. So how can you not, are you not in tune with your feelings? You don't know if it's going to serve you well, like me?
Maybe I don't know, it's just another week. It's just what you do. Maybe.
So Tony, I said to Tony, I think it was not this last Saturday. So Nora and I and Anita are working with him to help him raise, $5 million for ADHD. And I said to him, I said, Tony, you and I are just grinders, aren't we? He laughed. He said, yep. So a grinder is somebody, they're just relentless. It's just, you just do what you need to do. You just keep pushing and pounding and pounding and pounding. And it doesn't get through and it doesn't get through. And you just go ahead and pound and pound and pound and pound and pound. So, um,
I was reading a book yesterday.
whoa, whoa.
So
Should
if
have
that
asked if we
says
were all sitting
anything about
down.
last week, right? So,
Yeah. Pray tell, what book was it?
it's called Try Softer.
Oh, that's one of my favorite. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it must have been
Oh,
interesting. That's a very interesting fact that I was reading yesterday. Like that
right,
never happens. So
right.
that
That's
kind of explains a lot. I don't know.
right. You got to recover from it. It's weird because yesterday when I was working, pounding away, like grinding it out, uh, I thought yesterday the thought hit me. I'm like, people who don't read um, miss a lot in life. It was fascinating. Like you guys bring out the most interesting stories. So probably 20 years, 25 years ago, Rosanna said she's like, "Hey, I'm going to go to a seminar at the Warrenville Library." So Rosanna's always been a big reader. I mean, big reader. Not of my stuff. She just reads, her stuff, whatever she enjoys, not the stuff I enjoy writing. Or that I not enjoy writing that I do write. Anyway, she goes, I'm going to go to a seminar at the Warrenville Public Library. I'm like, okay. Like, what's the seminar about? It's about being an author. I'm like, it's about being an author. She's like, yeah, there's an author there. They're going to teach people how to be an author. I'm like, oh, nice. And she comes back from the seminar and she goes, and I said, so, well, did you enjoy it? Like, was it a good seminar? She's like, oh, it was really, really good. And I'm like, and I don't know if she said it or if I just heard it, but what she said, maybe, or maybe just what I heard, is that readers are lazy. I mean, they're not as lazy as people who don't read. They're the laziest of lazy. But if you're reading, what's 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 a lot harder than reading?
Writing.
Writing. Now, again, I don't know if I think she said it. I think she said, yeah, the author said that readers they're lazy. They're just, you know. And I thought, I'm like I thought, like, why is she going to a seminar on how to be an author when she's got an author in the house? Like, why doesn't she say, hey, you want to co-author a book together? Like, why doesn't, and she's never written a book. Like at pickleball, one of the guys went ahead and asked me on Friday, he goes and says, so, hey, Mark, and he knows Rosanna too. He came to our event and he's like, hey, Mark, do you do the writing on this or does your wife? Like he knew that one of us did. he did. He just didn't know if it was her or I. I'm like, yeah, it's me. And he's like, okay. So, nice. So anybody have any suggestions for Nora? So her her sales are definitely rising with her PPA, her numbers, without question. And it's happening pretty quick. Like the delayed action result principle, like you plant today and you bring harvest in, in the future. And so she is definitely, it's not a long harvest season. I mean, it's paying off for her financially. And so, and it's just going to grow larger and larger. And so as a Action Vision coach, my coach to her is, hey, you got to find the joy. You don't want to be grinding. I mean, it's admirable. Sometimes that's just what you have to do in life. Sometimes in a relationship, that's sometimes with your kids, sometimes in career, sometimes in business, you just have to grind. And if you have to grind it out, you just have to put your head down, do what you need to do. There's nothing wrong with that. That's admirable. That builds character and discipline and stamina and a whole bunch of things. But for sure, when Nora starts developing other people, like she wants to show up like excited. Like if if Lincoln comes up and say, Mom, like after he's thrown up and he's a mess and he's sick and he's sick and he's crabby and he's everything, like it's miserable being a mom. Like it's like grinding it out as a mom. And if he comes up to her and says, Mom, do you like being a mom? What will happen?
You'll say yes.
Yeah. She just look at him and moms are just, they're amazing. They really are. They really are amazing. Like in prison, the most active day for mail and phone calls is Mother's Day. And the least is Father's Day. People use that to go ahead and, shame fathers. I'm not saying they shouldn't be shamed. But I've never had a thought. The thought that I just had is fascinating. It's a little it's a little bit of an interesting day today. My mind.
What thought did you have?
Like, so fathers are, and I'm not saying they're not slimy and the reason their kids are in prison because of the father. I'm not saying that. Um, like, but, um, you know, there's the father's like, they deserve to be there. They're just stupid squirrels, just stupid squirrels. Like, warned them, didn't listen to me. They went to prison. I don't know what to tell you. That's on them. Like, and moms, they feel guilty. Like maybe they should. Like entitlement. Like I've never had that thought ever in 62 years, 37 years of parenting. Interesting. All right. So good work, Nora. So I don't know, how do you bring the excitement? How do you bring the excitement of motherhood to sales? How do you bring the excitement of flying to sales? How do you go ahead and find the joy in sales? How do you, like, I would have thought that, doing an in-person, you know, just you and the prospect, the new client, I would have thought that would have brought you this great joy that would have at least it at last for a week, maybe two, maybe a month. I don't know, maybe not. But how do you bring excitement, energy, enthusiasm, passion? So congratulations, Nora. Love to see the numbers increasing. That's just awesome. Um, Love to see the results. Like to see the tidal wave of business coming, where it's like it's really neat. It's really neat. Brings back a lot of memories of when I was in my 20s. Kenny, what you got? We can't hear you if you're talking.
Um, so we talked about it, yes, on Saturday a little bit, me and Luke, the in-person, how to create the in-person experience over the phone or combination between over the phone and in an email or emailing a document.
English or Amish?
English.
So you have internet, and so, have you guys ever done a Zoom call for clients?
I have done a
Yes.
few. One, oh, there was one that I did. I've done two of them so far where they can contact us through our website and schedule an appointment with me directly,
Okay.
and I don't have to even meet them.
Okay.
Um, and then there was
When you
one
did
that
it,
everything
when you,
worked out great. Like everything, I met with them, scheduled the job, everything worked out great as it should.
okay. Did you go ahead and have your pig in the background?
No, that was the
Okay.
second one. The second one didn't work out so well. I don't know if that was because of that or not. Maybe
What
we
happened?
talked about it.
You mean like the pig on your wall?
Uh-huh. That he
Secret.
shot in Florida and that he brought on the airplane. Like, that's just funny. It just is. Um, so your voice, your tone, like, you guys aren't ready for this yet, but sometime, hopefully soon, you guys will see the benefit of showing up on video. So I have the most experience on the phone with my voice. So I can take my voice and it's like in person. Like I can goof around and connect and touch somebody's heart where people are like, man, he's, you know, he's a cool guy. Like he's fun. He's funny. He's neat. You know, He's cool. It's harder to do that same thing in person.
What is that? Or
It's because you have a lot more sensories. You got a lot more sensory stuff that you got to control. You're probably thinking, well, do you think it's because you look like a homeless guy? I mean, when I like I went ahead and when I was in my 20s, I dressed up in a suit every day for work. Suit, press, suit tie, I look good. Like I was dressed for work every day. And now that I'm eccentric and I don't have to make money and I can look any way I want, like, hey, take it or leave it. People are like, man, he must be successful. So your voice and your tone. So like the analytic here will often, if you respond quickly to the analytic, they won't trust you. So you all need to go ahead and you got to get into the habit of figuring out. You got to learn how to ask the questions so you have context. And what it does is it makes you interesting. Hey, just before we get started here, and you see that little chuckle there? Like there's that little laugh. Like Kenny does this in person. He can do it verbally, but not quite as effective as the in person because his facial expressions. So when we were out at one of the, restaurants from the 1700s out on the East Coast with Jason and Kenny and I and Alan and Nancy, and he did his thing, and she's like, it's like you're up to something. Now he did that same thing to my brother Ken. And my brother Ken didn't trust Kenny, which was fine because Kenny didn't trust my brother either. and so it's like so understanding personalities is important. So people will like other people like themselves, but they'll fall in love with people that are opposite. So when I do a presentation in a group, it's the coolest magic trick. Like I'll have 100 people I'm presenting to, and Luke, this is important, but it's equally important to you, Nora, and you, Kenny, too. And so I'll do 100, and I'll go around and ask, people to do the test, and then I'll have them raise their hand, and I'll just visually go, oh, there's 10 people that are analytic, and there's 20 people amiable, and there's 5 people that are going to be driver, and then there's 50 people that are going to be expressives. So I get a feel for the room, and then I'll give them the test, and then I'll teach them how to identify somebody's personality in 17 seconds. Then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and say, so here's a test. How many of you think, can I see your hands? How many of you think that I'm an amiable? Can I see your hands? And if there were 20 that raised their hand, I want those 20 to think that I'm amiable. And then how many of you, and then I want, then I'll say, how many of you think I'm an analytic? And then if there were 10, I want 10. And then if there's 50 that are expressive, I want 50 to raise their hand for expressive. So I want everybody in the room to think that I am like they are. And
Gotcha.
it is crazy how I can make that happen. And so my goal is within seconds to have them like me, know, like, and trust me. And then within a couple minutes to have them absolutely fall in love with me. And so if you guys are on the video on this, you'll learn you know, like it's pretty early in the morning and Mark's on fire. Like how can he get away with not shaving and looking like a homeless guy? It's the energy. Like it's energy. It's like guys always bringing energy. Like he's just always energized. Not always, but he can turn it on in an instant. Like he can absolutely I've done this. Like I can be crying before because of something emotional or whatever. I can be crying, and as soon as the camera, the lights go on, as soon as the zoom hits, everything changes. It's like everything because I'm there for them. Like I'm there for you guys. I'm there for everybody that's watching this now, the podcast now. I I am here to serve you. I want you guys to say, he's quirky, he's weird, but like I look forward to this. Like it's like what stories, what weird things is he going to be talking about? And what's he going to show up today? Is he going to show up as an amiable? Is he going to show up as an analytic? Is he going to show up as an expressive? And if he's really thick, he'll show up as a driver. And then I'll shift back and forth like bipolar, quad, or quinpolar. So, Kenny, in answer to your question, is you guys learning, like you guys using this time to go ahead and you want to move people? You do it at the Coffee Connection. How do you move people? You learn to use your voice like you do your face. So I know how to use my voice like you know how to use your face. You know what you're doing, mostly. You're aware of it. And so how do you learn to use your voice in that same manner? So if I wasn't on video right now, if I was just verbal right now, I would still be using my hands like I am. Because it gives me the ability to go ahead and go in. So even if I wasn't on video, I'd still be doing this because it gives my voice richness. It gives it like, man, this guy he's into me.
Another thing I noticed too when I was making a lot of phone calls, and I still do it when I make phone calls, when I'm in the office, I like to get up and walk around.
Big time. That's why you want a good headset. Like I've got, I don't know, I think it's a $300, $400, $500 headset. Got the most expensive headset I could get. Like having a good headset is just absolutely, absolutely key. Big time. Because it gets you energized and you're walking around and you're doing it. And so if you're talking and you're not on video, you can't walk around. You can use your arms like I am now. But yeah, absolutely. So I might get more steps in when I'm making calls than somebody else who's working. My wife makes fun of me, like with me. Yeah, he's walking around. Nice. So it's effort, Kenny. It's work. It takes tremendous work and discipline to go ahead and how do I do it? But the efficiencies that you have, and so if you learn how to sell in person, it will be very hard for you to sell over the phone. If you learn how to sell over the phone, it'll be very easy to do it in person. And you'll be so much better in person. Like it's funny because people, like I tell people, yeah, I don't visit people, I don't do in persons. And when I do, people are like, you are so charming. Like you're just you are so good in person. But the inefficiencies, it's crazy. When you think about just travel time, even if it's only 15 minutes each way, like you think about the inefficiencies. How many calls could have you made during that time? And so, how do you safely drive and use that time to make calls? That would be another one. Luke, what you got?
That's kind of what Kenny had is like, I'm spending too much time out on the road. How do I, like on a roof, I can't, well, I could do it. I didn't think of a Zoom call, or if I do Zoom call with prospect, then I could present solutions with a roof. But like, I need to figure something out what to cut down my time on the road. I need more time in the office, making calls and doing estimates. But my concern is the closing ratio is going to go down.
It will until it goes up. Like when you're out in person, it's going to take you so not only travel time just out there, but on Zoom, you have control of everything. You could put a video on, you could go ahead and put background on, you could go ahead and show your website, you could show the your booklet, your flip book there. You've got so it's so much easier to do a presentation on Zoom. I mean, it's just crazy. And it's still pretty innovative. Like, it's still pretty interesting. Like, people are like, huh. So it's a blend. But yeah, sometimes we have to take 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward.
What we could do, Luke, is design a presentation slide to use for your Zoom calls, and then you would if basically you'd have a slide for each, or a different presentation for each servicing area. If there be a roof, then you would walk them through our
Yes.
process and show some pictures, videos,
Yep.
the entire process.
Yep. So there's Doug Andrews, big speaker. He went ahead and paid, I don't know if it was $35,000 or $55,000 to go through a 3-5 day boot camp on how to be a professional speaker. And I think he said something, one of the exercises is that they had to do is they had to say ice cream like 35 different ways, just same word, but different tone. So that's another whole level of speaking I've never gotten to. Don't have a desire to. But 35,000, 55,000 to go through training at that level. So depending on, like, Luke, you want to be a speaker, so you can, every day you're practicing. How do you go ahead? How do you take people and move people? Like, you're studying people's facial. So when you and Kenny and, Elaine and Kevin and his wife went out, are you studying? Are you looking at personalities? Are you looking at how things are moved and what's going on? Women tend to be very attentive with the body language and all of that. So learning to be attentive and being able to go through it. So anybody else have anything else? And so in the, in the 4 levels of coaching, you have 4 levels of coaching. So you have the cheerleader coach, pat you guys on the back, tell you you're doing great, even if you're not, like, hey, you're doing great. Analytic is teaching you. Expressive is, kicking your butt, like a football coach or a softball coach. And then a Navy SEAL is like, you are flawless. Like, one little tiny itty bitty thing, you miss one thing, you're done. Like, you just, yeah. So, with Nora on your PPA, are you keeping up on that?
I didn't enter Fridays.
Because it says here that last 7 days, I think you're at 1,800 points. So it's 700 off. I don't know. Maybe it's just Friday. It seems like it's more than that. A lot. Like, yeah. I don't know. Kenny, way to go on your 2 calls. Like, wow. Like, wow. But good news is better than Luke. Like, I think, Luke, are you doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not seeing it. And so I don't know. We'll have to check into that. So do you get a report like this, Luke?
Yes.
Can you forward it to me and Shuaib? That'd be great.
Yep.
Okay, super. All right. Anybody else have anything else? So the Top Gun is it's really like, how do we make it better? How do we make new people? I could see 2 new people joining us. And so they'll go back through the last, what, 4 or 5 months and catch up. Yeah, last 5 months. They'll go, so they got to catch up to us. So how do we accelerate it? How do we fine tune it? How do we make it even better than it already is? So congratulations. You guys have an amazing week. Oh, hopefully you guys work, Friday or over the weekend. You reviewed over last week's stuff. Nora, what's your goal for this week on points?
I don't know, probably 900.
And what would I love to see you do?
I don't know, 1,000.
1,000. I'd love to see you break that 1,000. Like you were so close. Like you're so close. It's like, so close to breaking that. Because man, you get that to be where that's the floor. And that's, so 250, 500, 1,000. Like how do you break that? Kenny, do you know what your goals are for points this week?
I don't know how my points, my calls convert to points yet.
Right. So yeah, so Luke, do you have any ideas what your points goals are?
Nope. Do not.
So we ought to look at that and make sure you guys are all lined up and queued up on that, because once you start doing that, and then when you start seeing that your points actually do translate to dollars, not that day, maybe not even that week, but they will in the future. Once you start going points, then it's all because it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when and how. So it's going to be exciting for all of you. Always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.